Alright guys, so I'm going to show you guys today how to install the OS X Yosemite onto a bootable USB drive so you can make a brand new USB bootable drive. This is great for if you ever want to do a fresh install, or if you have multiple computers in the house, or if you just ever want to restore your computer back to the factory settings but want the latest update, because as you know, when you select the internet recovery option, it takes hours to download unless of course you have a super fast internet connection. And also it puts the computer back onto the first version of the OS X that came with the computer. So when you purchase a computer, if it came back with OS X version like Mavericks or Lion or even something older, what Internet Recovery does is it puts it back onto the original software that you got. So now you have double the work, because now you have to update the software, bring it all the way up to Mountain Lion and then Yosemite, whatever you're doing. So internet recovery is not always the most convenient option. One, because it takes a long time to download, and two, because then you have to do the update later on anyways. So what I always do is I always create a bootable USB drive and just keep it in storage, because you never know when you need to restore it or ever update the computer for somebody else. It just comes handy at the end of the day. And once you have the bootable drive made, you could update any number of Mac computers with it, and then it will just basically, you just got to plug in, boot by holding the option key, and then just go on. So I'll show you guys today how to create the USB drive. So first things first, what you have to do is you have to download OS X Yosemite. So here you guys see it. Currently I just started downloading it, so it should be done in about 10-15 minutes at most, if not less. And then I'll continue the video off from setting up the USB drive. So I'll have a SanDisk Cruiser 8 GB drive. So at minimum you need an 8 GB drive. You cannot use a smaller drive because OS X needs the additional storage space when when doing the installation. So you want to make sure at minimum you have an 8 GB, and if you have a bigger one, that's fine too. But I don't really recommend wasting anything bigger than 8 GB, especially because you're going to be making this bootable drive and most likely just keep it as storage until the next version, major release version of OS X comes out. So for that reason alone, I would recommend only 8 GB. And if you have a USB 3.0 drive and you have a newer Mac that is USB 3.0 compatible, then definitely recommend using a USB 3.0 USB drive. However, a USB 2.0 drive will do just fine. So this is a 2011 MacBook Air, so that I'm going to be doing the setup, making the bootable USB drive on this. I currently have the USB drive, so I'm going to erase it, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the process new so I can show you guys how to do that. And then later on I'll show you guys how to do the update from the USB drive, so we're not going to be wasting any time downloading again and again. It's just one time download. Once you make the USB drive, it's good to go. You just start the process and then you do the update, and it takes about 15 minutes to do the update. I mean, I updated 3 computers in our house just using the USB drive, and it saved me a lot of bandwidth. Not that I have any limited bandwidth here, I have unlimited, so it's not the issue, but it's just time saving. It took me 15 minutes to do each Mac versus 45 minutes or maybe longer had I downloaded on each one and then done the process individually. So for now, I'm just going to put the video on hold, and I'll be right back once the OS X is done downloading and we're ready to make the USB drive. Okay guys, so before we before the download finishes, I just want to show you how to get the USB drive ready. So first things what you want to do is go on and plug in your USB drive. So in this case, I'm using the SanDisk Cruiser media drive. It's 8 gigs. SanDisk does come with this U3 system thing. You don't need to worry about it. You can just leave it as long as you format the main partition. So first things first, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click on Erase and leave it untitled and make it Mac OS Extended Journal. So go ahead and click on Erase, and it's going to click on Erase Untitled. As you can see, it's happening right here, and once it's done, I'm going to show you guys the next step. So we're just doing a quick erase. So this is the drive that I used earlier to update my Macs. So I erased it just to show you guys how to do the process. So give it a couple seconds. Once it's done erasing, we'll continue. Okay, so now the erase is done. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and click on the Untitled, and then click on the name of the drive, and then click on Partition, and then you want to click on one partition, and I'm just going to say 8.04, or depending on how your drive is, might be bigger or smaller, so it will be that size, but we want to make sure it says one partition, and then we want to go to options, make sure that GUID partition table is the one that's selected. Click OK, go ahead and click apply, but wait, you need to make sure that it says untitled. So if it says 1, 2, 3, whatever it says, go ahead and erase that, make sure it just says untitled right here, okay? Click apply, click partition, and once this completes, the USB drive is ready to be created as a bootable media drive with OS X Yosemite installer. So once this finishes, I'm going to disappear again for a couple minutes, and then once the OS X downloader is complete, as you can see, it's at 4 gigs out of 5. So we got a 1 gig to go, and in a couple minutes I'll be right back, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so we have the drive here formatted, it's ready to go. So just once the OS X Yosemite installer finishes downloading, I'll continue the video from there. Alright guys, so once the OS X Yosemite installer finishes installing, it's going to open up like so. Because we don't need it, go ahead and right click on the dock and click quit. Then open up your terminal, and then copy and paste the command exactly as shown in the video description and paste it into the terminal and press enter. Once you press enter, it's going to ask for your administrator password for the account that you're using. Go ahead and type it. You will not see anything while you're typing, but type it correctly and press enter, and you will see the process beginning like so. Now that the process has begun, this is the SanDisk Cruiser Media Drive that I'm using, but you could use any USB 2.0 or 3.0 USB drive as long as it's 8 gigs or more, and to make this bootable drive. So now the process is going to take probably 10-15 minutes, so we're going to try to go into time lapse. I'm just testing this for the first time, but anyways, once the installer is finished, I will come back. Alright guys, so we are done with the process right here. It took a little bit longer than 15 minutes, I guess, maybe because this MacBook's a little bit slow and old. It's still a great laptop. It runs really well overall doing the day-to-day tasks. So once it's done, what you're going to see is copy, complete, and then done. Once you see that, you know the USB drive is ready and good to go. So you can go ahead and close the terminal, and you should see right here. So this is what we're looking for. So we're going to unsort it. So this is what we're looking for. So once it's done, you're going to see this right here where it says install OS X Yosemite. So this drive is now good to go. So if you click on that and you click on that, and there you go, the drive is ready to go. So I'm going to quickly quit this, restart the computer, and show you guys that this drive is bootable and ready to go. So let's go ahead and restart the computer and then hold the option key right here. You gotta wait for the sound. I think the volume's on. Make sure the volume's on before you restart the computer, because if it's not, then it won't make the sound. But I think the volume on this MacBook is on. If not, then we'll just have to restart again. So just to be sure, again, just unmute the volume before you restart. Once you hear that dun sound of the Mac, you can go ahead. Oh, there we go. So once the sound comes up, you just hold the option key and wait for the drives to show up. Give it a couple of seconds. There you go. So now we got the recovery. So that's the recovery, is the internet recovery. So if you go through the recovery, it'll download the original. I believe this one came with the Lion. Correct me if I'm wrong. This one I think came with the Lion, OS X Lion or OS X Lion, whatever you want to call it. I think it came with that, so, but I could be wrong. So as you can see, this is, if I click on this, it would boot the current OS. If I click this, it will go into recovery mode, but this is the one that you'd want to click if you're doing a fresh install, reformat. Let me see if I could go ahead and update through here without logging into the computer. Okay, so this might take a couple minutes because it's got to extract the files from the USB drive. So now again, this is why we wanted to have more space available on the USB drive initially, because OS X needs to do this process in order to actually successfully boot into the setup process so that you could go ahead and install. So the progress bar is driving forward. I'm going to come back as soon as it's completed. Okay guys, so the progress bar is just about finished. Here we go. So we got the options right here. So we have options recovery from time machine, which we don't need to do because that's not what we're doing here. This is the boot up process for the USB drive. It's the same as what you would see if you did the recovery drive, if you selected that and you were trying to recover using the internet and just doing it that way. But obviously this way is more efficient and is more convenient and faster. So what you want to do is, first things first, if you're doing a fresh install or you're just restoring your computer back to factory settings, but you want to restore back to factory settings on the latest OS X, so then you want to click on disk utility. Once you click on disk utility, you will need to select the drive, which is going to be obviously the main one. This process might take a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes depending on the setup of the Mac that you have. Obviously, older conventional hard drive Macs will take a little bit longer compared to the SSDs, and the latest PCIe, which are in the 2013 to 14 MacBooks and Macs. Depending on the configuration that you purchased, they will obviously be a lot more faster. So this one has an SSD, so what you could do is click on the SSD right here, click on erase, leave it untitled. As long as it's Mac OS extended, you could go ahead and click on erase, and this will wipe out the entire drive, making it completely empty, deleting everything that was previously on it. Once that's done, the erase is complete, you can click on close, and then you could come back over here. So now, because we are going to be doing the upgrade, but I'm not going to do it in the video here, as I still need to make a time machine backup of the current data that's on the laptop. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm still going to show you guys the basics of getting started. So you have two options, upgrade or install. Obviously, if you're doing a fresh install, you want to go ahead and wipe the drive and then come back and click on install OS X or OS X, whatever you want to call it. So now what happens here is, even if you don't do the format the drive, you could still do an install. Now that install is only useful if you ever have messed around with the file system and deleted some wrong files, and now you're facing some errors, or you were playing around with other settings and you mess something up and you just want to bring it back to stock and just where everything just works. So in that case, what you could do is you could just go ahead and do an install, and that will just basically make your Mac work again while preserving all your data on the drive as is, exactly the way it was before you did something wrong. So I don't really recommend doing that. If you did something wrong, I recommend, just like I always recommend that you always have at least one backup once a month, and or try to make the most recent backup as soon as possible. And if you have to do this way, then go ahead and install it over top and just make a backup and then do a fresh install, because that way for 100% fact that everything is going to be working 100% without any issues. If you're doing an upgrade, you could do the upgrade through here or do it through the inside, how I showed you earlier, by clicking on the installer app or clicking on the installer on the USB drive. So you click continue, you click agree, and once you click agree, the process starts. It's very straightforward as long as you pay attention to the words, agree, disagree, accept, unaccept, or whatever. Just follow through the process and you'll be good to go. So in this video, now you've learned how to make a bootable USB drive. And when you make a bootable USB drive for other operating systems like Mavericks, Lion, Mountain Lion, obviously you have to change the name of in the command line from Yosemite to that. As far as I know, Yosemite is supported on all 2010 and up. I could be wrong, but you could just gotta Google it and just double check. So as long as your Mac is compatible, you'll be able to just go ahead and do the upgrade from this USB drive. Now this is going to save you a lot of time, anywhere from 45 minutes of downloading time to 20 minutes of install time, where you could do everything within about 20 minutes. And if you're running one of the older Macs with a conventional hard drive, I would highly recommend, if the budget allows, upgrade to an SSD. Crucial or Corsair, we did a drive. Actually the Crucial drives. We did a review on one of them, the M500, and then we later installed the M550. So if you're looking for an SSD to put in your older MacBook, especially the ones that came with a conventional hard drive, just go ahead and get one of the Crucial M500 series. I would recommend the 550, either the 512 gigs or the 1 TB. Those are really good. The speed wise, they're great. Stability is great because a lot of times people have issues by using third-party SSDs in the Macs because just the way the Apple designs the Macs, and just the way Apple is very strict on everything. The way they don't want you doing upgrades and things like that on your own. So it's either that, the Crucial. So the only two SSD drives, if you're ever thinking about upgrading, I would recommend is Crucial M500 series. So the 550 especially, or just go on eBay and look for an official Apple SSD that has been pulled out from another Mac. As long as you look at your Mac and just make sure it's compatible with yours, like if it's a 2.5, if your Mac takes 2.5 inch SSD or hard drive, then it will work with any 2.5 SSD. Sorry, 2.5 inch SSD. If your uses the PCIe flash, then you need to look at one of those on eBay. You can find a lot of them, or Otherworld Computing, OWC, also known as. Those guys also sell SSDs. You guys can check those out. They're a little bit expensive, but if you can and have the option of getting one of the original Apple SSDs from eBay, then you might as well do that. Obviously, try to get it from a Mac that is less than a year old. Because it'll have less write cycles. Although, again, you don't really need to worry about cycles. An SSD on average will last 10 years without any issues. So that's about it, guys. I hope this video was informational and educational for you guys, and hope you guys learn how to make a USB drive based on the video that we've shown you here. So the command line, I will paste it into the description of the video. Go ahead and copy it exactly, follow all the steps, and you will have a USB drive. And keep it as a backup, keep it as storage. Whenever you need it, you have it, and you could recover your computer within 15-20 minutes. If you guys have any questions, again, let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you guys have any suggestions, recommendations for other users that are going to be watching the video, of course, I always like community effort, and I always like it when other people are able to give better suggestions, because obviously I'm not right 100% of the time, or you might have a method that's a little bit better than mine. So at the end of the day, I'd like to hear that, and I'd like for you to share with others as well. So please rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos. Once the OS X Yosemite install is complete on this Mac, I'm going to be showing you guys how to enable the continuity and handoff, because as you know, the 2011 MacBook Airs were not included by Apple in official support. So there's another way to do it. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. It's a quick minute process for the older Macs. Some very older Macs will require modification, not the MacBook Air 2011, but the older, like the 15, 17, and the 13 inch, even the iMacs, they might require a little bit of modification. So I'm going to show you guys that as well, what parts you need, and give you guys all the information on that. So you do check out my other video, it'll be coming up soon. So thanks for watching. I wish you guys all a happy new year. Make it 2015 the best year yet. Take care. Bye bye.